Vancouver Island is located off the west coast of British Columbia, and it's known for its stunning landscapes, temperate climate, and laid-back lifestyle. However, several myths persist about living here. So join me as we go through the 10 most common misconceptions about living here on Vancouver Island. The first myth is many people believe that Vancouver Island is constantly wet and gloomy. The reality is, well, certain areas, especially on the west coast, receive heavy rain. Other regions like Parksville and Qualicum have relatively mild and dry climates, with more sunshine than Vancouver on the mainland. For example, here's December, and January, and February, and March. Don't get me wrong, we do get downpours, but I love these days of rain just as much because I go and check out waterfalls, the beautiful ocean side, and the verdant rainforest we're so well known for. Now, I'd much rather wear a raincoat than a winter jacket, but you do not need one as much as you would think. The next myth is people often think Vancouver Island is hard to reach, but the reality is ferries run here regularly between the island and the mainland from multiple locations on Vancouver Island. Now, traveling this way is different. It's kind of special, and it can be relaxing. But I understand that these ferry lineups can get crazy during the tourism peaks of summer. But this is because this is where everybody wants to be. Also, there are direct flights to many major cities via seaplane and helicopter, making it accessible at a moment's notice. There are also several airports, including Victoria, Nanaimo, and Comox. So the next myth is some people believe the island is small and can be driven across quickly, and this is not the case at all. The reality is Vancouver Island is large, over 460 kilometers long, just under 300 miles. Driving from Victoria in the south to the north tip can take you around 8 hours. Now, even though it's quite big, I do need to point out that over 250 kilometers of the Island Highway are 4-lane highways that allow up to 110 kilometers in a few areas. This allows relatively quick travel between the larger communities south of the island, and this drive is absolutely beautiful. Or you can take a boat. Now, the next myth actually isn't entirely a myth. There's some truth to this one, but many people assume the island is teeming with bears and cougars. The reality is, well, there is a lot of wildlife like bears and cougars, but sightings are rare in populated areas as the animals generally avoid humans. There are an estimated 600 to 800 cougars on Vancouver Island and an estimated, here's the big number, 7,000 black bears on Vancouver Island, which is a bit high. Now, I have to be honest, bears do occasionally get into our garbage. I do believe based off that, this myth has merit. However, if we do store our garbage correctly, this never happens. Also, I do live across the street from a vast forest, so I'd have to say we're on their land, not the other way around. Now, the next myth kind of plays into the last one, but some people believe Vancouver Island is nothing but wilderness. But the reality is, well, the island is known for its natural beauty. It has cities like Victoria and Nanaimo that offer modern amenities, cultural attractions, and urban life. I'm not saying that this compares to major cities like Vancouver or Toronto, but there are many things to do beyond exploring the great outdoors. Now, short interlude, if you have liked this video so far, please give us a like or consider subscribing to our channel. We're never going to run out of things to show you about living on Vancouver Island and loving this island life. And apart from taking the occasional vacation myself, I love bringing you these videos every week. Now, without any further ado, let's bust these last few myths. Now, the next myth is something that I have to talk about a lot, but Vancouver Island is often seen as a retirement destination with little appeal for younger people. Well, the reality is, well, it's popular with retirees in specific areas like Parksville, Qualicum, down in Cobble Hill's quite nice too. Many young families and professionals live on the island, drawn by outdoor recreation, the arts, and a growing tech scene. Not to mention the many remote workers who can now choose to live where they want and pursue a better work-life balance. Now, the next myth plays off the other one, and it is that people assume the island's economy revolves entirely around tourism. But the reality is, well, tourism is a significant part of the economy. The economy is much more diverse than that, with industries like forestry, fishing, education, healthcare, that's a big one, and technology contributing heavily. Now, will there be as much opportunity here as you're going to have across the water in a large city? Probably not. But I think it's best to focus on a better work-life balance, as mentioned before. Now, the next myth is that the temperate coastal climate means that it's going to be warm here year-round. But the reality is, while most winters are mild compared to the rest of Canada, they can still get chilly. And certain areas experience snow, particularly inland at higher elevations. This means you can ski here and have fantastic winter adventures in the snowy mountains. I love going out on this rare occasion because the snow generally doesn't last that long. But here's the thing, you can always return to the ocean and escape the snow. Me personally, I live inland in a very high elevation on Vancouver Island, and I can get a foot or two of snow on short notice. But just down the hill, it's raining. We're talking like 200 meters away. Now, the next myth is something I talk to nearly every single person about, and it is that some people believe living anywhere on the island is going to be as expensive as living down in Victoria. The reality is, while Victoria and other coastal communities are costly, smaller towns and rural areas offer more affordable living options. Look at places like Duncan or Ladysmith, or even consider buying a small cabin out on Salt Spring Island. Now, when people are searching, I have a common saying. You need to cast a wide net when you search for a home on Vancouver Island. Most communities are very close to larger city centers and connected by very efficient highway, for the most part. I would love to live in places like Nanoose or Maple Bay is just spectacular, as I know I can still easily access everything I need. However, currently I love Nanaimo because it's so central to everything, and this is important when you have young children. Now, the next myth is technically true. Vancouver Island is considered a hotbed of seismic activity, which is a half-truth. The reality is, the scientists are probably right about a significant earthquake one day striking the island. But I've never felt anything move under my feet. So this is not a myth. It's a cold, hard fact of island life. But here's the thing, natural disasters happen. But I'd rather live with the remote possibility of an earthquake someday, maybe not even in my lifetime, and living near fires that are an annual occurrence on the mainland. All of these myths give a distorted picture of life on Vancouver Island, which in reality offers a diverse and balanced mix of nature, urban amenities, and varied lifestyles. I moved here in 2008 from Calgary, and I could not imagine living elsewhere in Canada. I had many preconceived notions, and I found them all without merit. Now I'm raising 2 children in this natural paradise and struggling to find a reason to ever leave. So if you are thinking about moving to Vancouver Island, plan a visit and make sure it's a long one because there's going to be so much to see and explore. And if you ever want to meet for a coffee, I'd be happy to oblige, or at the very least give you a whole bunch of map links to explore places that very few people know about and I'm yet to make videos about. With that in mind, I hope you get to live the island life soon. And if you want to learn more about doing so, I'd definitely check out this video right here or this video right here.